What's up, everybody? It's Young Jazz here, 97.9 The Box, 7 to 11 p.m., Monday through Friday. You know we do it at the night show, but we got something very special planned for you watching out there today. We are going to be talking about fighting the stigma with one of my very special guests. So let me go ahead and get my boy PJ to go and join the show with us. Hi, PJ.
What's
What's
up?
up? How are you?
What's up, Jazz? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good today. Today's a good day.
I'm really excited to talk to you and for all of our listeners and viewers out there to also learn more about you and your organization and what you do. So can you just start off and tell us all about ViiV Healthcare and what you do?
Yeah, so again, my name is PJ Moton-Poole. My role is Senior Manager of External Affairs at ViiV Healthcare. And for those who aren't familiar with ViiV Healthcare, we're the only pharmaceutical company that's solely focused on HIV as a disease state. And so what you'll learn as we continue to talk is that that gives us the unique opportunity to focus on more than just the virus in the body and to really focus on all the things that impact the person's proximity to contracting HIV, and for those who are living with HIV, how to live long and healthy lives. And so I've been working in this field, in the public health field for like 17 years now, believe it or not. I'm only
What?
34, so don't
You look 18.
don't
What
age me.
you talking about, PJ? What you talking about?
Yeah, so 17 years, which I'll share more with you about. I started this work very early as a freshman in college. And so I've used a lot of my experiences, both working with my community and kind of working through the public health sector to bring our voice actually to the work that I'm doing here at ViiV in external affairs. So I'm excited to be here and excited to share more with you guys today.
So speaking of your work and stuff, like what specifically called you to do the work that you do?
Yeah, so actually, I started this work, as I mentioned, as a freshman at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. So shout out to all of my HBCU students and alumnus. So I actually started out as a condom distribution site or a condom distribution ambassador for the campus. So anybody and everybody on campus knew that if they needed condoms or lube or whatever, they could come by me. And I did that in partnership with a local nonprofit organization in Nashville. As I later started to kind of explore some of my other interests and I actually started modeling, I ended up modeling for some of the safer sex like pamphlets and things that they had at the organization that I was already doing some work for.
Mhm.
And later kind of became a face of some of their safer sex campaigns. And I always knew that I wanted to kind of be in the helping profession. And so I kind of like fell into this work, and it just kind of like I kind of just stayed in it and started to learn other ways that I can add parts of myself and things that I'm interested in this work. And what better way to serve my community than to work to save my community? So right at the intersection of being a Black person and being a queer person, HIV really kind of like lands right there. And so that's just how I kind of started in the work and stayed here and really learned how to bring more of myself and my interests in the work. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of that with some of the projects that we're working on this year.
Hmm. I love that. And speaking of the community and stuff, like for those who don't know, how does HIV impact the Black community specifically?
Yeah, so today, living with HIV is a very different experience than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 40 years ago when the epidemic first started, right? We have advancements in prevention and treatment and in care. That means that people are able to live longer, healthier, and more full lives. But HIV still impacts the Black community disproportionately more than other communities, particularly Black, gay, bisexual, and queer men who account for about 26% of all new HIV diagnoses and about 37% among 37% of those new diagnoses were amongst gay and bisexual men in 2019. So, all in all, we're disproportionately impacted by HIV. To understand that it's more than just about like who you sleep with, right? It's about racism, discrimination, stigma, homophobia, and other societal factors that really drive the epidemic to result in kind of a negative impact on our community and our overall health and well-being. And so that's why, we're talking today to really talk about why it's important to address stigma in a really meaningful way and like redefine the narratives of what it means to be a person living with or impacted by HIV. And so meeting this community, the Black community, the queer community, where they are is very important for us, so that we can make this a normal part of the conversations that we have.
And this is such an informative and helpful conversation for anybody who's just tuning in. I got my boy PJ with me here from ViiV Healthcare. And so, PJ, what are some of the contributing factors do you see that play a role in decreasing the number of HIV transmissions in the Black community?
Well, I think the first thing that we want to talk about is, of course, like normalizing the conversation. Just as people have conversations about high blood pressure, about diabetes management, about sickle cell, HIV is just another one of those chronic manageable diseases at this point, especially with the technology that we have. And so it's really about like getting away from the stigma and the misinformation associated with HIV and getting more to the facts, and then also seeing real life examples of people living with HIV and who are thriving and who are surviving and who are out here just doing the thing. For instance, I got my diagnosis in 2013. So this year makes 10 years of me living with HIV. Since then, I've gotten married, I had a kid. I'm working on my third house I'm about to buy. I'm just living my life. It's just really become another smaller part of my life. And what I really kind of set out to do is really kind of really paint the picture for people around what it really means to live with HIV. Another thing that's important, and another thing that we need to do to help people understand HIV and how it impacts us, is to understand U equals U. And for those who aren't familiar with U equals U, it's undetectable equals untransmittable. This means that for a person living with HIV and who are taking their medicine as prescribed, they can have as little of the virus in their body to where they cannot transmit the virus even in unprotected sex. So it's almost kind of like, I kind of liken it to like sickle cell, like you have it, but you can't give it to anybody. And so that's where we're trying to push our communities to go. And the only way to do that really is to get people connected to resources, to HIV testing, so you know your status. And then if you learn that you have an HIV positive diagnosis, to get you into treatment. Because for me, in my own journey, I learned about my status in November of 2013. By December, I was on my medication. By January, I was undetectable already. And so there's not been a period of time where this has really impacted my life negatively, other than kind of the mental and emotional kind of reconciliation that I had to do with learning about this living in my body. And so HIV is a thing that lives with me and not for me,
I like that. Yeah. And now you have a lot of you always had a lot, but you have a lot of great things going on too with ViiV Healthcare. So can you tell us about the Accelerate initiative and what's the focus of that?
Yeah, so Accelerate is my baby, right? So I get to oversee the Men of Color portfolio here at ViiV Healthcare. And so today, Accelerate is essentially ViiV Healthcare's commitment to Black, gay, bisexual, queer, and trans men. And it started out in 2015. That was solely focused in Jackson, Mississippi, and Baltimore, Maryland. So we spent 3 years. We spent 5 years in Jackson and Baltimore with a $10 million investment, and just really did everything that we could to learn about what was impacting Black, gay, bisexual, queer, and trans men in those cities with regards to HIV, like really understanding what are the real things that men are facing. It goes beyond just like testing and or who you have sex with, but it goes into like how you treat it, how you see yourself, how other people see you, what resources are available. And so we took that information from that 5-year investment, and we've since kind of expanded that work. So today, the Accelerate initiative consists of several things. We have 24 nonprofit organizations and programs across the country where we invest more than $8 million into programs specifically for and built by Black queer men. We also have other cultural initiatives that help to really amplify the voices of Black queer men, both living with and impacted by HIV. And so the Accelerate initiative, again, is our commitment to Black queer men with more than just grant dollars, more than just, information, but also kind of experiences and resources to help people change their mind about how they see HIV and how they even see their proximity to HIV, whether they've seen themselves in some of the campaigns in the past or not.
Whoa, you guys are really doing it over there. Now, PJ, look, like I said, y'all doing it big. You guys are also in the podcast space as well, right?
Yes, we are in the podcast space. We have
For those
We
who don't
have
know.
actually two podcasts out right now. The first one that people might be more familiar with is Being Seen. So Being Seen is was the first of our podcasts, and it was created to explore how Black queer men are seen and how they want to be seen as it relates to their lives, the fullness of their lives, and then particularly around HIV stigma. So
And
while
what?
the goal, uh-huh.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the goal of the podcast, while it was to reduce the stigma around HIV, we really wanted to bring to life like the full story of men and how and the work that they're doing and the stories that they have to tell. This the seasons 1 and 2 that focused on Black queer men uh, was um, was narrated by award-winning actor Darnell Moore, and it features conversations from people like Stephen Canals, who created Pose on FX, Coleman Domingo, who we all know and love, Shangela, Kaylin Allen, and so many more. And then season 3 actually focused on Black women, where we had Letticy, T.S. Madison, and several other like really amazing voices.
And so, wow. So they can go to the website right there to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, they can go to beingseenpodcast.com. You can also visit www.viivhealthcare.com, where you can see kind of like all of our cultural initiatives. But the second of our two podcasts is actually based on the Latinx experience. So Latinx is an umbrella term for individuals of the Latino or Latina diaspora that identify beyond the general, beyond the regular gender spectrum, right? And so it's an all-encompassing term. And so the it's called Love and Gravity, and it's a telenovela styled podcast that's a scripted storytelling. So it's 6 episodes from the Black, I mean, not from the Black, from the Latinx queer and Afro Latinx community. And it really takes listeners through like a cross generational storytelling. It has stories about family, it explores empathy, it explores the HIV narrative, but it also explores like the richness of the culture within the Latinx community. So it really like takes you to a whole another world. Like when you include like the narrative plus the sound effects and everything like that, I had a really great time like helping to produce that and really bring those stories to life for the Latinx community.
Oh, come on, producer bag too. PJ,
Come
what do you
on.
not do? That's how I should have started it. What do you not do for real? That's
What do I not do? I don't cut grass anymore.
oh, what's wrong with that? Look, hey,
I'm over that.
that's okay. Well, somebody we have a question from the audience. Is the podcast in Spanish or English?
So both of the podcasts are in English. We are preparing for Love and Gravity season 2, which will release later this fall. And actually, one of those episodes is going to be in Spanish. So we really do value language justice, is what we call it. So making sure that if we're having materials that are for the Latinx community, that we also have it available in Spanish. So all of our print material is currently available in both English and Spanish, but the podcast in this newer season is going to have one full episode in Spanish.
Language justice. I have to steal
Yes.
that from you, PJ. That's lit.
Yes, take it, please.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about Houston, of course. Specifically, how are you guys like supporting the Black queer communities in H-Town or locally?
So yeah, so we have our work for the Black queer community is nationwide, but we have an emphasis on some of the communities that are most impacted by HIV, Houston being one of them. So we support several organizations in Houston, including AIDS Foundation of Houston, Texas Pride Impact Funds that does work all across the state of Texas, and namely Normal Anomaly Initiative, which is one of our organizations that we're really most proud of, really proud of Ian and the work that they're doing at Normal Anomaly, and really looking forward to expanding our work in this area. So we're really proud to be supporting the Black Queer AF Music Festival and being a part of really uplifting Black queer voices in the Houston area. So Houston is one of the cities that we kind of focus our work in as a part of what we call our place-based initiative. And place-based just means that we're concentrating our resources and efforts in a specific area, because we understand that, you know, your proximity to HIV has more than to do with, again, just who you play with, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Can
Yes.
you elaborate a little bit too on like for why it's important for ViiV Healthcare to be here supporting the Black Queer AF Festival?
Yeah. So once again, it's really about meeting our communities where they are. One of the
Mhm.
things that we realize is that Black communities are social beings. Like, we come together around a dinner table, we come together around a homecoming, we come together around Essence Fest, all of these things, right? And so it's really about as we work to normalize the conversation about HIV, we have to put it in those normal spaces, right? And just make it a part of the fabric of our being. You know what I mean? And so it's not this scary thing that's away and apart that, we only talk about in secret. Away
Mhm.
with that. You know what I mean? It's been 40 years that this has been a part of our lives. And we know that that method has not served us, right? And so it's about bringing the messages and the resources and the people and the stories to the places where we already are and not making it this whole other part of a hidden life, right? We're full beings, we're whole beings, we're not pieces and parts. And so we can't serve pieces and parts of a person. We have to serve the whole person.
That's what I'm talking about. And for those who don't know, also or might just be tuning in, can you let them know the date of the Black Queer AF Festival and stuff too? And where exactly?
Yes. The Black Queer AF Music Festival is the weekend of May the 4th.
And it's at Stampede Houston. We figured it out. See, we just had to
Stampede Houston. That's what it is. Yes. I
Stampede
went
Houston.
last year. And when
That,
I tell you I had such a good time, like I live in Dallas, right? But
uh-huh.
I'm in Houston all the time. It's right down the street. And a lot of my work is down there. But like I wasn't sure what to expect. And then like, like with new music festivals and things of that nature, you're like, I don't know, it might need some years to kind of like really catch off. No, this was like top tier, like
Already.
from the time we came in to
Mhm.
like the full experience and like even having it at Stampede, it was just a lit experience. So
So we're
be
gonna
there.
running it back May 4th weekend. Um,
Hmm.
Black Queer AF Fest. You guys get your tickets. We're also gonna be giving away some tickets too. We're giving away 4 tickets, correct?
Yeah, Normal Anomaly is giving away 4 tickets. So tune in for the call to action towards the end of our call, so you can see how you can enter for a chance to win.
And last but not least, too, before we wrap up our call, PJ, what can we expect to see from ViiV Healthcare in the future, too?
Make sure you catch us at the Black Queer AF Music Festival coming up. But we also have a couple of other things, as I mentioned. This year, we're bringing back our immersive play. So it's a fully immersive off Broadway play. It's going to be touring in both Chicago and Atlanta. It's going to be in Chicago in late September and October, and then in Atlanta mid October through the top of November. It's called As Much as I Can. So it really takes you on a journey of a young Black queer man learning about his HIV diagnosis, telling friends and family, like interacting with his church, and like, but you're going on this experience with him. So you're in the bathroom with him, right? You're in the bedroom with him. It's a really amazing experience. And it goes beyond telling you something or showing you something, but it makes you feel. And that's the one thing that we realize about our work is that when you make people feel, that's the thing that really changes them and moves them towards like a behavioral change or an attitude change about a subject.
Sometimes we got to get in our feelings. Not all the time,
Yeah.
but it's okay to be in the
Your
feelings.
feelings are good as long as you can manage them.
Embrace it. Oh, managing them. See, that's the part I'm trying to figure that one
Yeah.
out. But before I let you go to, let them know how they can win those 4 tickets that you guys are giving away. What's the call?
So Normal Anomaly is giving away 4 tickets to the Black Queer AF Music Festival. All you have to do is follow ViiV Healthcare on Instagram. That's at ViiV Healthcare on Instagram. Also, go to the Normal Anomalies Instagram page and get the Black Queer AF Music Festival flyer and repost it either on your story or on your page. You do those 2 things. The Normal Anomaly will be looking out for those things for that call to action, and you can enter for a chance to win one of 4 tickets.
And also big performances too at the festival. My friend
Yeah.
Ken the Man performing, Kid Ken also performing, Kiki Wyatt. So it's going to be a time at Stampede Houston, May 6th. So make sure you'll get your tickets, do that call to action so you can win free tickets. Anything you want to add, PJ, too, before I let you
go? Live happy, be healthy.
Love that. That's it. Live happy, be healthy, y'all. Thank you again so much for tapping in and giving us all the juice today about ViiV Healthcare. We really appreciate you, PJ.
Absolutely. Thanks, Young Jazz.
Bye, y'all. See y'all next time. See you tonight, 7 to 11 p.m.